Hey y'all, welcome to the Healing Station with Dr. Davis. I'm your host, Dr. Davis, and I am so excited about today's episode. Have one of my favorite people in the studio with me, and that is none other than Ayanna Houston. Woo! My favorite VA. Love your story, love what you do, super proud of you and all that you've been able to build. And so, without further ado, I'm going to have you introduce yourself to the people and tell them what you do. All right, go ahead, girl.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me. This is awesome. Awesome. I love what you do as well and definitely needed. So my name is Ayanna Houston. I am the founder and owner of a virtual assistant company. So a lot of people don't know what a virtual assistant is or does. So let me break it down for you.
Go ahead and break it down.
Um, so funny. So virtual assistant. So I've been doing this for about on and off for about 12 years plus, and I recently launched my business March of 2023. A virtual assistant is a has a variety of services, administrative services like administrative assistance, social media management, calendar management, appointment management, personal task management. So the list can go on and on and on. I have an array of services as well. A lot of my clients that I serve are female entrepreneurs, others that need help. I mean, men and women I serve, a majority of my clients are female. Doctors, I have mental health professionals. So I have a plethora of people that just need help. Like a part of our mission. So my company is called Open to Revisions. And a part of our mission and vision is to help the family be more organized so that they can have more time for their family, but also allow God to move in your schedules. That's where the name came from. We plan and plan and plan, but we have to be open to God's revisions in our schedules and in our calendars and things like that. So I am a believer. Tend to work with a lot of believers actually, but there are a few that are not, so it's not a requirement. But knowing if you hire me, we gonna talk about Jesus in some form or fashion because it just comes up all the time, and I love talking about Jesus. Um, but it really helps to have to know that ahead of time because a lot of what I do is I pray for my clients. I pray like, okay, Lord, how can I help this client? There's been many times that I'm on the call, my consultation calls, and they're telling me everything that they need. They're like just pouring out. This is they could at the time when they meet me, they're overwhelmed. So they're like, this is everything I need. I don't even know where to start. And I'm like, Lord, they making me feel overwhelmed.
Where do we
So,
start?
like, whoa, where do we start? But I pray about it. I'm like, okay, Lord, as I hear them and listen to them, we prioritize, we, organize, I really thank God for allowing me because I'm like, okay, Lord, I'm not going to be, overwhelmed because this is a gift that you have given me. So tell me how I can help them. So I very much take pride in my services and my company and the clients that I serve have been really great. So I just hit a year of being in business for myself. So that in itself is a testimony, and I thank God for that.
Amen. Well, I'm so excited, and that's why I'm so like I've known you whole life, and so full transparency, this is my sister. Yeah, just in case you didn't get the hint by now, but this is my sister, and I am extremely proud of her because she has been a organizer, and I call her the family secretary as a joke. That's always like, oh, you're the secretary, because she always like takes care of all the admin tasks and makes it look really easy and gets everybody organized and is able to send all the emails and do all the things. And so that is her gift. She's able to really serve in that capacity, and she's always done that for us and then started doing that for other people and then went into business for herself, which as a fellow entrepreneur I am a big fan of. So excited about that, and congratulations for making a
Thank
year
you.
in business. That's a huge step for any company. And so as I think about your journey and the name of your company, I absolutely love Open to Revisions, and just the story behind that, like to be open to
Mm-hmm.
God's revisions, which is so true when you're on a faith walk,
Oh,
when you're
definitely.
following God. Um, yeah,
For
you're
sure.
gonna have to be open to revisions because His ways are not our ways, and His plans are not always what we would
Oh,
expect
yeah.
at all.
For sure.
So some things we know about, but majority, if we're honest, we have no idea. But it's exciting. So it's really good that you say that. So something that comes to mind is, so when do you know you need a
Mm-hmm.
VA? Like, is there a way? Because I
Oh, that's a
know
great
people are
question.
coming to you in crisis, which
Yeah.
I know even as a therapist, I am, used to that. People usually come to me in crisis. More recently, which I'm very, very proud of people for doing this, they're just coming to like
No,
do,
that's awesome.
check-ins and what I like to call management, and that's awesome. But most of the
Mm-hmm.
time, people are coming to, just like with therapy, they're coming to you in crisis. Everything has gone haywire. They're
Haywire.
super behind. There's 2 million emails in their inboxes, and it's just crazy. So, when do you know you need a VA? Like, and I feel like some people think, can't, because it's the thought of having help seems like a luxury, like, like I
Yeah, I feel
can't
that.
really hire a VA because my company or my business is not making enough yet, or whatever the case may be. So I'm just wondering, I have so many thoughts obviously, but I'm gonna shut up so that you can talk. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Because I feel like sometimes people, not that it's
Yeah,
too
for sure.
late, but we can avoid coming in crisis is what i'm
Oh,
where
yeah,
i'm
for sure.
getting
And
at.
then interject whenever you have a new thought. Of course, I'm used to that too. Um, but that's a great question. When do you need a VA? I would say you can have a VA from kind of like when we were talking about therapy. And I always, when someone talks to me about that, I'm definitely an advocate, not just because you're a great therapist and, um, you know, in general, but and I advocate for it. But I always compare it to like the hospital ER. I also have a medical background, so a lot of people use the ER as their primary care. A lot of people come to
Mm,
um, mental health professionals when they're in crisis. A lot of people just, go to the ER when they're in crisis. But a lot of times we can avoid that. So, like when you're going to just for checkups from your primary care physician, same with therapy. Go when things are good. So then you have the tools. So when it is a crisis, same thing. So that I use that example for virtual assistant as well. So you can not know everything and still bring me in and say, okay, this is what I want to do, and I can help you from the ground up. I do have a few clients right now that I'm helping build their business. Like they're like, okay, this is my business idea. This is what I've done so far, but then I haven't done anything since. I
mm-hmm.
don't know where to go from here, or I just want to have a foundation so then when I do get bigger, I don't have to go back to ground zero to build that foundation. So even when you're in the, idea state, and I know some people are like, I don't want, and I will never do this. So you definitely sign non-disclosure. I definitely sign a non-disclosure agreement, especially because a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to tell you my thoughts yet, or I don't want to tell anybody my thoughts yet.
Mm,
I'm still in those planning stages, but a part of the contracts I sign in the contracts that my clients sign covers that. Whatever you tell me is just me and you
this one,
kind of
yeah.
relationship. So when you do let me know, I'm like, okay, I can help. You navigate that. So in the beginning stages, you can have a VA. When you are like already through and you're feeling overwhelmed, so when you need a VA, it can be first steps or it can be 50 steps down the road. When you're feeling overwhelmed or when you're realizing a big one is when you're realizing the gift that God gave you, the company God gave you is feeling more as a burden than joy. Like I
Mm,
love what I do, but I'm getting overwhelmed with the smaller tasks and I can't keep up. But I love what I do, but the small tasks are making me not like what I do. And so
Mm.
that's a perfect time that I can take over those tasks. Like, you love being with clients, you love being face to face on whatever your company is doing. Let me handle the customer service. Let me handle the, scheduling, your calendar, your appointments. If you're traveling, I do travel booking as well. Like, let me handle all those minute details, your emails and things like that. And then you're able to focus on your business, focus on your family, focus on, if you have, a primary job, because I do have a lot of clients that have a job and then have children and then have their business. So you can focus on the other things while I take over the small, minute task. So I see that a lot. Like, there's this idea that I have, but I don't have time to execute. Hire me. I feel overwhelmed with all of the tasks that this one business, or I'm trying to launch 3 businesses. How can I juggle? Hire me. So those are all different. Everyone's different. There's no cookie cutter, like, oh, you need a VA for this, this, and this. Everybody needs a VA,
Everybody needs an
but
assistant. I feel like, look,
everybody needs an assistant.
personal
That's
assistant
my
is needed.
thought. But yeah, it definitely varies. Even if, and some other things, we talk about entrepreneurship a lot, and owning your own business, and a lot of my clients fall in that category. Actually, right now, all of my clients fall in that category. However, I have helped clients that don't have their own business and need help with day to day tasks. You
Mm.
know, in school and have a full time job, and they're trying to balance that. And I mean,
Mm.
like, in grad school, and they're trying to juggle that. Needing help with, like, proofreading papers, that's another service. Need help with creating an ebook, or all of that, because I do graphic design as well. So it kind of just depends on your needs. You don't necessarily have to have your own business, but I'm trying to do laundry and I'm overwhelmed with my kids and work, and I don't know how to balance. And I found a service that picks up your laundry at the door, drops it at your door, and the client was happy. So it's just what your needs to help your life flow, help you
Mhm.
enjoy, help you, not feel overwhelmed. A lot of, mothers may not have a business, but they also have a full-time job. They're also trying to be a wife. They're also trying to be a mother. Those are all jobs. Those are all jobs, all, titles. So when it comes to that as well, I can help.
No, that's really awesome. And that's good to think about because I feel like times like people think, well, I don't have a business or my business is not in a certain place or I don't have enough revenue or whatever the case may be. There's so many different factors that kind of keep people from thinking that they can get a personal assistant or a virtual assistant in this case. And so it's really good to know that that is an option and that
For
is
sure.
needed, especially when you're juggling a lot of things, so that you
Hmm.
can.
And then also,
Mhm.
I'm not necessarily, because I'm virtual, the great part about that is I don't have to be in the same city or state with you.
Mm.
I I reside in Texas. I have clients in Texas. I have clients in the city that I stay in, outside the city, outside the state, on a whole different time zone. So being virtual, also, we don't have to be in the same area code, zip code, or anything like that for me to help. So I just wanted to throw that out there as well.
I was like, shameless plug, which is a good plug to plug in there. Like, by the way, this is virtual. No, but that's
Yes.
awesome to know and just
Oh,
have a
and
perspective on. Oh, go ahead.
so another thought that goes with that, being virtual doesn't mean I cannot come in person, though. There are
Look to
certain
know.
services, yeah, there are certain services that I offer that I don't mind traveling with my client. So if you have a speaking engagement and you need help manning your information table at a conference or things like that, there are certain services that I offer. If you want to do a conference in another city and you don't have time to fly out, and you need to meet with vendors, and you want to see the venue, you want to see, like, all of that, I do those services as well. Of course, my clients pay for them. fly me out and things like that. So we will discuss what that package looks like. But those are services that I offer. So most of the time we'll be FaceTiming, face to face meeting on a regular basis. And then if there are times that I need to travel, that is an option as well.
I knew you did conferences and stuff. 'Cause I know you've done some for me, which
Mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm.
shameless plug, like great service. But I didn't know you actually went and scoped stuff out. But that would make sense. That would make
Yeah.
sense. But that is awesome. Really, really cool. So as I think about what you said, where people are coming to you in crisis and all of that, and people are
Yeah.
coming with some, what's the word I want to use? Like maybe some hesitancy, some fears and stuff like that. What do you feel is a lot of like gets in the way for a lot of entrepreneurs or people that you work with? Because I
Get in
just
the way of hiring me or just get in the way? What do you mean?
like, what are some things that you see? For example, something that I can see coming up, and so I'm putting myself out. Well, I don't think I struggle with this. And this is what also
Or
let me
anymore? No, I'm just
anymore.
playing.
I feel like I did at one point, but I don't struggle with this
Okay,
anymore.
okay.
Praise God. And as coming to entrepreneurship, God put me through a process of really being able to let go of everything and not be the perfectionist and not feel like I have to like put my hand on everything. And I thank God. And he also put me in position to watch somebody, like I was working for someone, and I got to watch them build a business from that space of fear and anxiety. And I was like, it was so hard to work for them because of that. And they couldn't see it. And they were running themselves ragged because they did
Yeah,
everything. Like
yeah.
one point they were like cleaning the toilets. I'm like, yo, like you need to delegate some tasks.
No.
It was bad. It was so bad. Okay.
Oh, that's
So, but I
bad.
feel
I
like
mean, stay humble, but whoa.
I really feel
Like,
like because it's like, okay, I can do it better. But I just really feel like being able to see
whoa.
that and watch what happens when someone's not able to let go of that seed of fear that just manifests into this whole big old tree of chaos
Yeah.
really helped me realize that, girl, you need to do the healing work to ensure that when it's your time, this is not no,
Holding you
because I'm
back.
like, I don't want to work for somebody like that. It was too, I'm like, we can do it, right? You don't have to
Yeah.
watch us. Like, we're integral. I mean, I know everyone's not, but I
Yeah.
answer to the Lord. I'm just saying. So it was just like, whoa. So I can imagine that people that you work with may have a hard time being like, oh, the password to whatever, or here's my baby. They think of it as their baby and all of that. And so it can
Mm-hmm.
be so difficult to, or they can be like, oh, you got access to like all my business, or I don't know.
All of it.
I really feel like there could be some things that can hold
Yeah.
people back and then also hold you back at times to be efficient in the work that you do because they have some fear and anxiety or some perfectionism qualities or some I can do bad all by myself type thing. So tell me about that.
I surprisingly, I have gotten clients that are so in crisis or so ready for help
Mm,
that they've passed that part. They're like, okay,
I don't
I
care.
tried, it didn't work, and now, oh my gosh, Ayanna, I didn't know. Okay, can you hire? Can I hire you? Blah blah blah. So I have been lucky enough thus far to have those individuals like, okay, I am ready to dive in. I need your help. Where do we go from here? Because clearly I can't do it by myself.
Mm,
Um, I have seen people that are perfectionists and have certain ways while we do work together. I think what has helped was showing my um, the products of my words. So I can tell you, okay, when I do this, it's going to make you feel better. When I do this, you're going to feel lighter. Or, once we organize this, you're going to have like a breath of fresh air. And they're like, oh. And then when it happens, it's just like, wow, okay.
mm-hmm,
And then they put more trust in me because of the delivery or the
mm,
products or, what I was able to do for them. So I think with that, it has helped with how I talk to my clients. I'm very upfront. I'm very communicative. I'm very efficient with how I want them to perceive my services, me, my company. So I'm very intentional. Maybe that's the word I was looking for. I'm very intentional on how I deliver the services. Then it's not more of a like, oh my gosh, kind of
Mhm.
reaction. So that I would say that I have not fully had a client that is so like, oh my gosh, you're gonna have, honestly, probably thinking in my head, I think you were the only one to be like, oh snap, you're about to have that password. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
because I was like, dang, I
yeah,
didn't
I
realize
need
how
that
deep it
password.
goes. So I was like, it goes real deep. You have
Yeah,
all the passwords. But I was like, well, at least I know you and I know your mama. And I remember
of
saying that.
course. Yeah, yes, I remember you saying that too. So I think you were the only one, which is so funny because you're my sister. But I think you were the only one to be like, oh, Nab, you need that, and what are you gonna do with that? And then now I see the difference since we've been working together for almost over a year now. Now I see that you're like with new passwords, you're like, okay, make up the password and
I don't
give it to me,
care.
or here's the password, or use
I mean,
this, or
I
whatever,
care.
whatever. Of
Security
course,
is
of
important. But what
course,
I mean by that is like I clearly trust you. But I also
yeah,
at this point, like I said, it's been a healing journey and I know I talk about that throughout this
for sure.
podcast. People get sprinkles of that. But when I think about what has really been able to free me as a business owner, one, my experience working with somebody who was like that and I was like, "Ooh, I don't be like that." But
Hmm.
also really, and the shameless plug for listening to Heart Conditions on, as we talk about sonship, because really sonship is what helped me in the sense that I'm like
Hmm.
really like God's got me, and I have a perspective that my business is not mine. Like I'm literally hands and
I
feet.
love that.
It's not
I
my
have the
baby.
same.
It's not my
Yeah,
baby at all.
same.
Like because I feel like if I feel like my business is my baby, I think that's cute that people say that. It sounds cute, but I think the perspective that you'll have if you feel like your business or anything is your baby, you're gonna feel like you have to provide for it because that's what a parent does.
Does.
And
Yep.
it's not my baby; it's his baby. I am just the like the daycare provider.
No,
I'm
for
the hands and
sure.
feet, and so like ultimately, he's
Yeah.
telling me this is how I want my baby to be provided for. Here's the money for it. Watch my baby. I'll be back, kind of thing. And that's
No,
how
that's
I
so
feel
true.
about my business. And once I switched my mindset to that, that really freed me to be able to be
Hmm.
like, okay. And then I really trust that whoever he sends to help me is for me and not against me. And if you
Yeah.
are against me, you will be revealed. And vengeance is the Lord's. It got nothing to do with me. So I just gotta, I just gotta process through that and forgive you and go forth. So that's how I feel about
No,
that.
that's no, I love that. And being a new mother, well, of 2 years, I can't believe she's two now. But I remember times that I'm just like, okay, Lord, and I say this all the time, but I pray and I'm like, okay, Lord, you know what she's going to be. You know what you created and designed her for. Allow me to raise her to nurture that. Like, I'm just borrowing her. This is your child. You
Mm-hmm.
know the language that I need to speak. You know the volume I need to speak in. You know everything about her. I just met her 2 years ago. You let me know how I can parent her. And so with that, same thing. I was like, Lord, if you, because like I said, I've been doing this for on and off for 12 years, but I literally recently started the actual business and company and LLC and blah blah blah. So I was just like, okay, Lord, if I'm supposed to start this business, you give me the name. I want you to be the center. I want you to like literally everything about the business I'm asking. The services that I provide, the clients. Is this a client for me? Because you can't say yes to everybody. So is this my client? Am I serving in this capacity? These services and things like that. So definitely wanting, I'm like, Lord, this is yours.
Mm-hmm.
I want your hand in everything I do when it
Oh,
pertains
thank
to this
you.
business, because I don't want to feel overwhelmed. I don't want to feel you know all right, I have to do this, or like some of my clients, get to the point where I'm not loving what I do because I feel overwhelmed. I don't want to get to that area. But going back to when you were saying the fear, now thinking about it, I feel that a lot of people or a few clients I have like had consults with them maybe, or had like conversations, but maybe that fear is why they didn't, hire me yet, or, consult in that regard yet, or maybe thinking about it. So if there's anyone thinking about it right now, pull the plug. Let's have a consultation call. You will feel so much better knowing like you don't have to do it by yourself. We're not supposed to man is not supposed to be alone. Adam and Eve, you know, God did that. So making sure that you're not
Community.
doing it community, fellowship, we're not supposed to do this by ourselves.
We
So
can't. We can't accomplish much by ourselves. We really can't. It makes me think as we've been talking, because when I think about delegating tasks, when I think about organization, when I think about letting go, it makes me think of the Proverbs 31. Like reading
mm,
that also was very freeing for me in this process. Cause it was like she's able to accomplish so much because she delegates tasks. Like she does not do it all like by herself. She has a team
listen,
behind her. Okay.
I was
There
like,
is a
oh my gosh.
team. Cause people make it seem
When
like she
I
was doing
first
that. She don't do that by
all by
herself.
herself,
She do not do
like
that by
when I
herself.
first heard, okay, well, thank you. That's why we need to read the Bible for ourselves, because people's interpretations of Psalm 31, they're like, oh yeah, she's a great
Proverbs.
one.
Sorry.
I mean, sorry, Proverbs 31, a great woman, which she is. But when people talk to me about Proverbs 31, it was just like she's superwoman and she does everything. When I read it, when I
I'm like,
saw
that
that
is
she
not what it
had
said.
nannies and she had like,
She had
what?
servants. She had
She
people
had
managing
servants.
the garden. People look tending to the animal. Like she didn't do everything. Like why y'all lie?
She had a virtual assistant. Okay,
She
no,
had a whole. She had several. She had several. Okay.
she
It
had
was in
executive
modern
assistants,
times. She
administrative
would have had.
assistants.
It was modern
She
times, but they didn't have that.
I'm
Ain't no
just like, oh my gosh, no wonder she's the perfect example. I'm gonna need y'all to read that chapter because
free.
she had everything in there.
Like she
I
put in
said,
work. Don't get it twisted. Like she was
oh
waking
no,
up
no, no.
and
I
all
did
that. She put in
when
work.
they
She
talked
wasn't
about
lazy.
how early in the morning she wakes up, I was like, "Ooh, okay, I need to work on that one. But I was like, oh, she's all right. I hear you, Lord. But yeah, in all, yeah, I definitely read it for myself and was like, I don't have to be Superwoman.
Mm-mm.
I can ask for help, delegate, and literally, also going back to our companies being God's babies, just like raising children, how we were having that comparison, it whenever somebody's pregnant and all of the things, they're like, oh, it takes a village.
Yeah.
Like that goes with every aspect of life, because it literally takes a village to raise my child. It's going to take a village to nurture my
That's it.
business, my baby, my, all of those things. So it literally goes hand in hand.
Absolutely. So that's what I think about. And I'm just like, I love that provide that service because I see it as a form of healing, in the sense that people are coming in, they're overwhelmed, they're full of anxiety, they aren't knowing how to be organized, how to help things to flow better. And then
Mm-hmm.
you answer that call because you're graced to do it. And I think that's what's beautiful. I know some people will ask me, like even clients, well, they do this all the time, especially on hard sessions. They'll be like, "I'm so sorry," and I'm just like, "I'm graced to do this. Like nothing you have
Mm-hmm.
said or quote unquote dumped on me is gonna make me go home and cry,
Yeah.
like, and be like, "Oh my gosh, I can't do my job anymore." Like, it's because God
Mm-hmm.
has graced me to do this, to be like, I love my job, like truly. And as I hear about what you do, I would absolutely hate being a virtual assistant. That's why I need one because I don't want to do that stuff, like that minute stuff. I'm a visionary. I think about the big picture. When we talk about them details, I'm like, I'm good. Like I can kind of figure out a map on how we can do it, but I don't want to do it. Like I can tell you what needs to be done,
That's
but now
hilarious.
hire the person that's gonna do it because I don't want to do the minute details. Here's a big picture. Here's the minute details. Get somebody who's graced in that, and then we'll go from there. That's kind of how I see things.
I feel you.
So
I feel you. A lot of people are like that. They're like, here's the vision. Can you, I don't know where to go, else to go from there.
it's
Like,
like,
this, God gave me this vision, and I guess you helping me with the path to it. So I have no idea, which is definitely understandable. I think what gives me joy and why I'm graced to do it is because when I see, like, when I'm able to fix somebody, I don't know, this sounds weird, but when I'm able to fix somebody's inbox that had like
fixing
80,000,
inboxes. I'm sorry. I don't even want to check my email. What do you mean?
oh my gosh,
I
but
do it
like
though. I do
have
it. I do check my email.
80,000 unread emails. Come on
Ooh.
now, you're not going to read that. But I'm just like, and then they hire me and then they see like, oh my gosh, there's 12 in there. And the smile that's on their face is just like, I can just see the weight lifted off their shoulders. It's just, it brings me joy. It's just beautiful.
I'm like, what does the
So
inbox look with 12 emails? Because I feel
hire
like
me and find out.
I'm a, I mean, what I'm trying to say is I get so many emails a day.
No, a lot of people do. And honestly, a lot of, like, some of the emails, depending on how busy you truly are, a lot of them are junk mail. So it's just like subscriptions that another minute detail that you're not going to sit there for 30 minutes to an hour and click on every single subscription and unsubscribe because you're like, oh, okay, I was at this store and they said I'll get 15% off if I
Besides just
sign up for their
another
email.
email on there.
Sign up, and then you forget to cancel it or whatever the case may be, and it just keeps on coming and coming and coming. I help with all of that. Hire me.
Her. If you didn't
Yeah.
know, hire her. And I also just want to encourage people because I know, and this wasn't something. Only reason why I didn't struggle with this starting out is because I knew I needed help. So I was like, look, we are gonna. I'm. I was at a place, and I'm in a place where I'm learning in this faith journey, and I know everyone is in their own space. What I'm learning is one, something I always say, and I know you've heard this before, is like God pays for what he orders. So like if you're in the will of
I
God, he is
love when you
going
said
to
that.
pay for it. And then another thing I'm learning when you're in the will and you're stepping out of faith and doing things is that he God takes care of needs that actually exist. Like he cannot provide for a need that doesn't exist. Like so basically if you're so worried about creating the need, aka like I need to hire this person, they're going to need to get paid X amount a month. So now you're like, oh, this will become a need, but it's not a need yet because it's just a thought you have, but you don't act on it because you're afraid that you won't have the revenue for it. Well, you act on it. Of course, when you feel led to do it, you don't just be doing willy-nilly stuff. Do things with God.
Yes,
Caveat
yes.
there. But you act on it. You know the Lord is leading you to it. It creates the need, and the provision is on the other side of the obedience. And that's what I've learned.
That's
So
good. Provision is on the other side of
it always
obedience.
is. And because I have had so many moments in building my practice where I have felt like, oh, I'm ready to hire this person, or oh, based on last month's revenue, I don't know if I can do it for the months to come. But the Lord has kept on reminding me, it's like, if I'm leading you to do this, it's going to create a need, and I meet needs. And He's been faithful to it. And I have been
Yes, he
just
is.
loving the journey with that. But I'm not gonna lie, there's some parts of me that be scared. And I'm like, Lord, what you doing? Hold on. But I do it anyway, because you know something about me. I'm be obedient. Even if I'm crying, I'ma still do it.
Having a
Like
full tip attention, but Jesus, I'm about to follow
I'm
you.
honest with God. I'll be like, I'm scared, and then click the button. That's kind of how I do it. And He know I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm like, make me
I feel that.
courageous. Make me courageous. I'm gonna click the button anyway. Kind of how I feel. But as I about that, I say all that to say you're feeling led to if you need help is what I'm saying. And if it's
For sure.
time,
For
there
sure.
is going to be a level of help for you because
Yeah.
people literally not everybody is $1 million or whatever. There's levels to this. There's
Oh,
packages
a
to this,
hundred percent.
all of that. And so start where you are and don't count yourself out is what I'm saying because I know at the beginning when I started, I knew what I needed and I started out with what I could afford at the time, even though it's still a little bit stretched, but I started there and then I have been able to increase as my business increases and as my needs increase. So you start where you are and then increase
For
rather
sure.
than let me wait until, because sometimes it's
That's
hard
the
to
part.
get to
Yeah.
the expansion part if you're not creating, like I feel like I've been able to do more because I started with what I had and started building my team than having to be like, oh, wait until X number of clients or number, whatever number comes to mind or what revenue.
Mm-hmm.
So doing it, I did it within my means. I'm not saying like I was writing bad checks or anything, not at all. But what I'm saying is I did it within my means. It was a faith walk. However, I've been able to increase, and because I had the help, I was able to do more, to
I
create
was just gonna
more.
say that. Yeah, I was just gonna say that a lot of people, like you said, are possibly like, okay, when I get to this number, or when I get to this amount of clients, or when I get to this, but a lot of the times you need the help to get
To
there.
get there,
So,
to get free up your focus. I love the fact
exactly.
that all I
Free
have
up your
to do.
creativity.
Mhm.
When you're not overwhelmed, you can do so much more in that creative space.
Exactly. Because I love the fact that I have a team of people on my side where I'm like, this is what I want to do. And I just send the email and then y'all figure it out. And then it comes back and it's done. And I'm like, I don't know how you did it. And I
Like, I
don't
didn't
really
have to do
care.
anything. Thank
I just
you.
want to make sure it's done. That's what you get paid for. But to me, it just helps you do more and to be the
Hmm.
visionary, if you will, of whatever you're doing, whether it is managing a company, a business, or just trying to get through the day, or
No, literally
just
day
trying
to
to make
day
sure all the
tasks.
kids get to soccer practice
Fed.
and stuff. So whatever it is, whatever, we all need help in delegation. So I am so thankful for you and what you do and how you are just doing it for the Lord. I love that. So,
I'm here for it.
as I always ask everyone, any last minute thoughts, advice, or anything that you would give to people as we wrap up today's episode?
Great question. I would say if you are thinking about it, if you're thinking about it, do it. If you are trying to see like where it can fit in, or where to start, if you're thinking about a business, if you're at the planning stage of a business, or if you just need help with day-to-day tasks and you don't have a business, reach out. I definitely feel that a lot of people may be suffering in silence, and break through
Mm.
that. Don't it perfectionists break through that as well, because that's something you need healing from. First of all, talked about that, but everyone needs help. Everyone needs a village. There's no one person that's. I mean, if we're gonna think of like the money aspect, or what you perceive as, freedom in working, or whatever amount you want to get to retirement so you can travel and do all of these things, whatever that vision for you is, none of those people that you envision that's already doing that did it all by themselves. Like, everyone had a team, everyone has their help, their core people. And so you need, so you can expand and you know do what God called you to do. So just, like a church, a pastor, they have many different things. Proverbs 31, she had help. When you're raising your kids, you had help. Even if it's you and your husband, y'all helping. You
Y'all
and your
helping each other.
exactly, you and your spouse, y'all are helping each other. So there's no one successful person that only did everything by themselves. No one knows it all. No one is perfect. We'll learn together. We'll build together. Hire open to revisions. You won't regret it.
Yes, higher open to revisions, open number two, and revisions. Hopefully, y'all know how to spell those, but because I was gonna spell it out, but I was like, hopefully,
I think.
Google it. But yes, but I will have her information in the description box for you all to follow her on good old social medias, go on her website, and book a consultation. So I'm so thankful again. Thank you so much for your time and being on here and sharing your expertise and your thoughts with the people. Let's continue to heal together, you all. I love you as usual, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for having me.